The war between humans and the alien race known as the Zolarians had lasted for years. Millions had died, planets had burned, and the stars themselves seemed tired of watching endless battles. On one silent battlefield, deep inside a half-destroyed spaceship, a young human soldier named Eli Warren woke up to the sound of his own heartbeat. Smoke filled the corridor. Sparks danced in the air. The floor trembled with each distant explosion. Eli's head spun as he tried to remember what had happened. His unit had been ambushed during a rescue mission. He had seen flashes of green energy and then nothing. When he opened his eyes again, he was alone. He tried to move, but pain shot through his leg. Still, he pushed himself up, using the wall for support. His communicator was dead, his weapon almost empty. Around him, the bodies of both humans and aliens lay scattered, reminders of a battle that no one had truly won. Eli took a deep breath and started walking down the corridor. Every step echoed. Every sound made his heart race. The silence was worse than the gunfire. And then he heard it. Heavy footsteps. Slow, deep, metallic. They came from the shadows ahead, shaking the floor slightly with every move. Eli froze. He had heard about the Zolarian warlords, massive, armored creatures that could crush a man with one hand. None of his team had ever survived seeing one up close. He raised his weapon and waited. From the darkness, something moved, huge, shining under the flickering lights. A tall figure, almost twice the height of a man, covered in dark silver armor, with glowing blue veins running through it. Its face was half machine, half beast. The creature's eyes burned with cold fire. Eli's mouth went dry. The alien stopped a few feet away and looked at him, not with rage, not with hunger, but with something else, something strange, curiosity. For a long, silent moment, they just stared at each other. The air between them felt heavy. Eli could feel the weight of his heartbeat, the fear crawling up his spine. He tightened his grip on his weapon, ready to fire. But the alien didn't attack. Instead, it tilted its head slightly, as if studying him. Then, in a deep, metallic voice, it said a single word, something in its own language that Eli didn't understand. The sound echoed through the corridor, low and powerful. Eli hesitated. "I don't understand you," he whispered. The alien took one slow step forward. Eli aimed his weapon instantly. "Don't move," he shouted. The alien froze. For a second, Eli thought it might attack, but then it lowered its weapon, placing it on the floor gently. Its large clawed hand opened, showing it wasn't a threat. Eli blinked. "What are you doing?" The alien's voice rumbled again, softer this time. It pointed at Eli's wounded leg, then at a medkit lying beside a fallen soldier. Slowly, carefully, it pushed the medkit toward him. Eli didn't move. His mind screamed that this was a trick, but his heart whispered something else, something he didn't understand. The alien's eyes were not cruel. They looked tired. Against all logic, Eli took the medkit and treated his wound, never taking his eyes off the creature. The alien watched silently, its head slightly bowed. "Why are you helping me?" Eli asked in a shaky voice. The alien didn't answer, but it turned away slightly, scanning the corridor as if protecting him. It seemed to be guarding the only exit, not to trap Eli, but to keep others from entering. Then Eli noticed something unexpected. The alien's own armor was damaged. Deep cuts, broken wires, leaking blue energy from its side. It was injured too. "You're hurt," Eli said quietly. The alien turned its gaze back to him. For a moment, something almost human flickered behind those glowing eyes. The ship shook suddenly. A loud alarm began to ring. The emergency lights turned red. Somewhere deep in the ship, another explosion roared. The alien stepped forward, pointing toward the escape bay. It wanted Eli to follow. "You want me to go with you?" Eli asked. The alien gave a slow nod. Eli hesitated again. Could he really trust it? This was the same kind of creature that had killed his friends, burned cities, destroyed everything humans loved. But right now, he had no other choice, and deep inside, he felt that this being was different. He took a slow breath and nodded. "All right, lead the way." As they moved together through the burning corridors, Eli couldn't help but notice how the alien always stayed between him and danger, blocking falling debris, scanning corners, protecting him like a soldier guarding his comrade. He didn't know why. He didn't know what this creature wanted. But one thing was clear. This moment, this strained connection between two enemies, would change everything. As the ship's hull began to collapse behind them, Eli looked up at the alien one last time. The creature turned its head slightly and made a sound, low, almost like a name. "Cartha." Eli repeated softly, "Cartha?" The alien nodded once. And so began the story of the only human brave enough to befriend a deadly alien warrior. The escape pod landed hard on a deserted planet, covered in silver dust and glowing blue rocks. Eli stumbled out, coughing from the smoke. Behind him, the huge alien warrior stepped out slowly, his armor scorched and cracked. The sound of cooling metal echoed through the quiet air. Eli looked around. There were no signs of life, only endless plains and a dark purple sky. The warship had crashed miles away, burning like a dying star. The alien turned his gaze toward Eli and spoke in his deep, mechanical voice. "Stay." Eli didn't understand the full word, but he caught the tone. It wasn't an order of anger, it was a warning. The alien moved away, scanning the area with slow, powerful steps. Eli sat down on a rock, still trying to make sense of everything. Hours ago, this creature was supposed to be his enemy. Now, it had saved his life twice. He looked at the alien again. The creature's back armor was damaged, exposing a layer of dark skin underneath, almost like human muscle, but stronger, denser. The alien winced slightly as it moved. Eli stood up, hesitated, then walked closer. "You're injured," he said softly. "Let me help." The alien turned sharply, eyes glowing brighter for a second. It could kill him with one hand. But instead, it stayed still, watching, waiting. Eli opened the medkit and took out the healing spray. "It'll stop the bleeding," he said, showing it in his hand. He stepped closer, slowly, carefully, and sprayed it on the alien's wound. The alien grunted, low and deep, but didn't move. Steam rose as a chemical reacted with the alien's armor. "There," Eli said quietly. "Better now." The alien's breathing slowed. It nodded once, a strange, almost respectful gesture. Eli smiled nervously. "So, we're not killing each other anymore. That's good progress." The alien tilted its head slightly, confused but curious about Eli's tone. Then, surprisingly, it made a soft sound that almost sounded like a chuckle, a short, deep vibration from its chest. For the first time, Eli laughed too. A human laugh, real and tired. The alien stared at him, then looked away, as if trying to hide some emotion. Night began to fall over the alien planet. The sky turned darker, filled with twin moons that glowed faintly. Eli and the alien sat near a small fire Eli managed to start using broken ship parts. The silence between them was strange but peaceful. The alien seemed to be thinking deeply, its eyes reflecting the firelight. Eli looked at him again. "Cartha," he said slowly, remembering the sound the alien had made before. "That's your name, right?" The alien looked up, nodded once. Then it pointed at Eli and made a questioning sound. "Eli," he said. "My name's Eli." The alien repeated it in a rough, mechanical accent. Lee. Eli smiled. "Yeah, that's it." For a moment, it almost felt normal. Two beings from different worlds sitting by a fire, learning each other's names. But that peace didn't last long. Suddenly, the alien's armor lit up with faint red signals. Cartha stood immediately, scanning the sky. His eyes narrowed. "What is it?" Eli asked, standing too. Cartha growled low. Then, in broken English, he said, "Hunters, coming." Eli's stomach dropped. "Your people." Cartha gave a slow nod. "But they'll kill me," Eli said in panic. "And you, if they see you protecting a human." The alien interrupted him by raising a massive hand. "Quiet," he said firmly. Then he crouched and began pressing some glowing buttons on his arm. His armor shifted, hiding its energy signals. He looked at Eli and motioned for him to hide behind a cluster of rocks. Moments later, the night sky filled with the sound of engines. A small squadron of alien drones swept over the landscape, their lights scanning the ground. Eli held his breath as one beam passed inches from his face. Carther stood tall in the open, pretending to be alone. The drone stopped in front of him. One of them projected a holographic image, another Zalarian commander speaking in an alien tongue. Eli couldn't understand the words, but he could feel the tension. Carther's tone was firm, defiant. The drone's lights grew brighter, as if suspicious. Then, one of the drones turned its light toward the rocks where Eli hid. Eli froze. Carther moved fast, grabbing his plasma weapon and firing in one clean motion. The drone exploded in a flash of blue fire. The others screeched alarms and opened fire. Eli ducked as energy blasts hit the rocks. Carther roared, returning fire with incredible precision. His movements were strong but graceful, like a warrior who had fought 1,000 battles. When the last drone fell, silence returned once again. The firelight flickered, and the alien stood there, breathing heavily. Eli stepped out slowly, heart pounding. You destroyed your own drones. For me. Carther looked at him, his chest rising and falling. Then, in a low voice, he said, You, not enemy. Eli felt his throat tighten. And now your people will come after you too. Carther nodded. Yes. He looked toward the distant mountains. We must go. Eli hesitated, but then nodded. Then we go together. The alien stared at him for a long time, as if trying to understand this human's courage. Finally, he gave a slow nod. Side by side, they started walking toward the horizon under the two glowing moons, two enemies bound by something greater than war. And somewhere far above them, on the alien command ship, the Zalarian High Council had already marked Carther as a traitor. The twin moons hung above the silent desert, casting silver light across the rocky plains. Eli and Carther had been walking for hours. The wind was cold, carrying strange whispers that made Eli shiver. Every sound in the darkness felt like danger waiting to strike. Carther walked ahead, his large footsteps silent despite his heavy armor. He moved like a shadow, cautious, alert, ready for anything. Eli followed behind, trying to keep up. He was exhausted, but he didn't complain. Somehow, the presence of the alien made him feel safer, even though he didn't fully understand why. Finally, they reached a narrow canyon, filled with glowing blue plants that pulsed softly in the night. Carther stopped and raised his hand. Rest here, he said in his deep, rough voice. Eli nodded and sat on a rock. His legs ached, and his throat was dry. He took a sip from his water pack, then looked up at the alien warrior who stood quietly, scanning the horizon. You saved my life again, Eli said softly. You didn't have to do that. Carther didn't answer at first. Then, without looking back, he said, Once, humans saved mine. Eli froze. A human? Saved you? Carther turned slowly, his glowing eyes dimming a little, as if remembering something painful. Long ago, during First War, one human medic found me dying. He did not run. He helped. His voice grew quieter. I killed him by mistake. Confusion. Rage. After that, I swore never again. Eli stared at him, speechless. He could see the pain hidden in the alien's words. So that's why you didn't kill me, he whispered. Carther nodded once. You remind me of him. For a moment, neither spoke. The only sound was the soft hum of the alien plants around them. Eli felt a strange connection, a bridge between two worlds that should have never met. But peace never lasted long in their universe. Without warning, the ground trembled. A high-pitched beeping came from Carther's armor. He looked down sharply. Trackers, he said. They found us. Eli jumped to his feet. What do we do? Carther activated his wrist console. A holographic map appeared, red dots closing in from both sides. We fight, he said simply. Before Eli could respond, bright lights appeared above them. Alien drones swooped down, followed by ground soldiers in silver armor. Plasma rifles glowed in their hands. Carther roared, stepping forward like a shield. Stay behind me. Eli ducked as the first wave of plasma fire lit up the canyon. Carther moved with incredible speed, blocking shots, firing his own weapon, striking soldiers down with his bare hands. His armor gleamed under the moonlight, every move powerful and precise. Eli grabbed a fallen rifle and joined in. He fired wildly, trying to cover Cartha's flank. The sound of battle echoed through the canyon, light, smoke, and energy flashing like a storm. A drone shot down from above, hitting the ground near Eli. The explosion threw him backward. Pain shot through his arm. His weapon fell out of reach. Before he could crawl, a shadow loomed over him. An alien soldier aimed his blast at Eli's head. "Eli!" Cartha shouted. A blur of silver and blue moved faster than the eye could see. Cartha slammed into the attacker, crushing the weapon in one hand and throwing the soldier against a rock wall. The impact cracked the stone. Eli gasped for breath. You saved me again." Cartha didn't answer. His armor was glowing dangerously now, overloaded with damage. He looked down at his chest, where one of the plasma shots had burned deep into the metal. Blue energy leaked out, flickering like fire. "Cartha," Eli said, "you're hurt." The alien raised a hand. Later, "Move." The last few drones circled overhead. Cartha picked up a large rock and hurled it with such strength that it smashed one out of the sky. The remaining machines retreated, their lights vanishing into the night. When silence returned, Eli and Cartha were both breathing heavily. Smoke drifted around them. The canyon walls were scorched and cracked. Eli slowly stood up, shaking. "They'll keep coming, won't they?" Cartha nodded. "Yes. They call me traitor now. I disobey command. Help human." Eli frowned. "Then we can't stay here. We need somewhere safe." Cartha looked at the horizon, where the faint lights of an ancient city shimmered in the distance. "There," he said. "Old outpost. Long abandoned. We can hide and plan." Eli nodded, picking up his weapon. "Then let's go." As they began walking again, Eli couldn't stop thinking about what Cartha had said. A human once saved him, and now Cartha was saving him in return. It was like fate was trying to fix a mistake made long ago. But something else lingered in the shadows, something neither of them noticed. Far away, in the sky above, a ship hovered silently, watching them through hidden sensors. Inside, a figure in dark alien armor observed the scene with cold eyes. "Target confirmed," the voice said through a communicator. "The traitor travels with a human. Authorization to capture." "Negative," came a chilling reply from the alien commander. "Do not capture. Eliminate them both." The ship turned silently, disappearing into the clouds. Down below, Eli and Cartha continued their journey toward the ruins, unaware that their greatest test was yet to come. And as they vanished into the night, a strange bond grew between them, one that could end the war or destroy them both. The ruins of the old alien outpost rose from the desert like the bones of a forgotten giant. Broken towers leaned toward the sky, covered in dust and silence. Strange blue lights flickered weakly through the cracks of ancient walls, like dying stars that refused to fade. Eli and Cartha entered carefully, their steps echoing in the hollow halls. The place smelled of rust and time. Faded alien symbols glowed faintly on the walls, reminders of a war long before this one. Eli wiped sweat from his forehead. "It's creepy," he muttered. Cartha's glowing eyes scanned the shadows. "Safe," he said. "For now." They found an old control room and made camp there. The air was cold, but the walls protected them from the wind. Eli sat near a small blue flame Cartha had created using alien tech, watching the light dance across the alien's metallic armor. For a while, neither spoke. The silence between them was strange, not uncomfortable, but heavy with unspoken thoughts. Finally, Eli broke it. "You said your people will call you a traitor, that they'll hunt you." Cartha nodded slowly. "Yes, they already do." Eli hesitated. "And humans, if they find us together, they'll think I betrayed them too." Cartha looked at him for a moment, his eyes dim with understanding. "So, both of us enemies are all." Eli gave a tired smile. "Yeah, just two wanted men, one human, one alien." For the first time, Cartha gave a small sound that almost resembled a laugh. Deep and rough, but real. It made Eli grin despite the fear around them. But that brief peace didn't last long. The sound of static broke the silence. Eli's communicator, which had been silent since the crash, suddenly blinked with weak light. He grabbed it quickly. "This is Sergeant Eli Warren. Can anyone hear me?" A moment of static. Then a voice replied, "Eli, you're alive. This is Command Center Bravo. Your unit thought you were dead. What's your location?" Eli's heart leaped. "I'm on planet Theta 7, near the old Zalarian outpost. I need extraction." Then the voice changed, colder. "Wait, are you alone?" Eli froze. His eyes flicked toward Cartha, who was watching silently from the corner. Eli started, then stopped. He couldn't lie, but he also couldn't tell them the truth. "Eli," the voice repeated, sharper now, "are you with an alien?" Eli hesitated too long. The line went dead. Cartha tilted his head slightly. "Your people," he said. "They know." Eli stared at the communicator in silence. "Yeah, and they are probably coming." Cartha stood. "Then we move." But before they could leave, the ground trembled. The sound of engines roared above. Ships, not alien this time, but human. Eli's heart sank. "They found us." Cartha's armor glowed as he powered up his weapon. "Your people, they will shoot you too." Eli nodded grimly. "If they think I'm helping you, yes." The first explosion hit the outer wall. Dust rained down. Bright lights flooded through the broken windows as human soldiers surrounded the ruins. Through a loudspeaker, a voice boomed. "Sergeant Eli Warren, step away from the alien and surrender immediately. This is your last warning." Eli turned to Cartha. "They'll kill you if I do nothing." "And they'll kill you if you don't," Cartha replied calmly. The air grew thick with tension. Then Eli made a choice, a dangerous one. He looked at the alien warrior, then at the human soldiers closing in. "We fight together." Cartha's eyes flared with approval. "As one." The ruins erupted in chaos. Plasma and gunfire filled the air. Eli dubbed behind a pillar, returning fire at the incoming troops. Cartha moved like a thunderstorm, fast, brutal, unstoppable. His massive frame shielded Eli as bullets ricocheted off his armor. "Eli, down!" Cartha shouted, firing a blast that blew open part of the wall. The explosion threw human soldiers backward. Eli rolled aside, his ears ringing, but managed to take out a soldier who had climbed onto the rubble. The two fought in perfect rhythm, different worlds, same goal, survive. But the humans had numbers. Dozens of soldiers surrounded the ruins, cutting off every exit. Drones hovered above, scanning with bright red lights. Cartha glanced at Eli. "We cannot win this fight." Eli panted, reloading his rifle. "Then we don't fight to win. We fight to escape." Cartha nodded once. "Follow me." He slammed his armored fist into the wall, breaking through an old tunnel hidden behind it. "Old escape route," he said, "used by my ancestors." Eli didn't question it. They ran through the narrow tunnel, lights flickering as explosions echoed behind them. The tunnel opened into a vast underground chamber, filled with ancient alien machines and glowing crystal cores. The place looked like a forgotten temple. Eli stared in awe. "What is this place?" Cartha looked around slowly. "History of my people. Long before war, before hatred." He walked toward a large stone-like console and pressed his hand against it. The crystals lit up, showing holograms of alien and human-like figures standing together, not as enemies, but as allies. Eli stepped closer, shocked. "Wait, humans and Zalarians once worked together." Cartha nodded slowly. "Yes, long ago, but leaders erased truth. They feared peace. They wanted control." Eli felt anger rise in his chest. "So this whole war, it's built on lies." Cartha looked at him and said quietly, "Yes, and now, with no truth. They will hunt us both for it." Eli met the alien's gaze. "Then we show the truth to everyone." Cartha's eyes glowed brighter. Together. Above them, distant engines grew louder, more ships approaching. The war wasn't over, but something had changed. Eli wasn't just surviving anymore. He was fighting for something greater, for the truth, for peace, and for the strange friendship that was no longer forbidden. Deep under the alien ruins, the air was cold and still. Faint blue light shimmered from the ancient crystal cores, casting strange shadows on the walls. Eli and Cartha stood among the forgotten technology of a civilization that once believed in peace, before fear and war destroyed it all. Eli's eyes moved across the glowing symbols carved into the walls. "This place, it feels alive," he whispered. Cartha touched one of the walls gently. "It remembers," he said. "These halls hold stories older than both our races remember." A low hum filled the chamber. The floor vibrated slightly. A massive console in the center flickered to life, showing streams of alien script and images of stars and ships. Eli stepped closer. "What is it showing?" Cartha adjusted a panel, and the hologram shifted, now revealing a map of the galaxy, filled with red and blue markers. Then, a line of symbols translated automatically into human language. Eli's heart raced as he read the words. "Alliance Treaty, Year 0027. Humans and Zolarians unite against external threat." He blinked in shock. "What? Humans and your kind were allies?" Cartha nodded slowly. "Before the Council changed the records, they erased the truth to control us, to make us fight." Eli's mind reeled. But why? Why start a war when there was peace? The alien warrior's deep voice echoed in the chamber. "Fear. The leaders feared unity. A united galaxy cannot be ruled by fear. So they made new enemies, us." Eli clenched his fists. "They made us hate each other for nothing." Cartha turned toward the console again. "There's more. Look." A section of the hologram changed, showing a data crystal locked inside a containment chamber beneath the ruins. The projection displayed an image of two figures, one human and one alien, shaking hands. "This," Cartha said, "is proof. The original treaty. The data crystal contains it all, the truth they buried." Eli's pulse quickened. "Then we need to find it." But before they could plan further, the ground shook violently. Dust rained from the ceiling. The sound of engines and heavy footsteps echoed through the tunnels. Cartha's expression hardened. "They are here." Eli looked up in alarm. "Humans or aliens?" Cartha's eyes glowed brighter. "Both." He was right. The surface above them had become a battlefield. Through the cracks of the ruins, flashes of light cut through the darkness, plasma fire, explosions, screams. Both armies had arrived, chasing the same prey, them. Eli turned to Cartha. "We have to move now." Cartha nodded. "Follow me." They ran through narrow corridors as the walls trembled. Every few seconds, dust and debris fell from above. The old structure was dying, just like the secrets it had guarded for centuries. Finally, they reached the containment chamber. The doors were covered in layers of alien script, glowing faintly in the dim light. Eli looked at it. "How do we open it?" Cartha placed his large hand against the panel. The ancient system scanned him, recognizing the DNA of his ancestors. With a heavy hiss, the door slowly opened. Inside, floating in a beam of blue light, was a data crystal, small, clear, and pulsing softly like a heartbeat. Eli stared in awe. "That's it. That's a proof." Cartha stepped forward carefully. "It holds every record, the alliance, the betrayal, the false history." He reached out and took the crystal gently, holding it in his massive hand. For a moment, the blue glow reflected in his eyes like hope itself. Then, a sudden voice echoed through the chamber. "Step away from the artifact." Eli spun around. At the entrance stood a squad of human soldiers, weapons raised. Behind them, a group of Zolarian enforcers appeared through another doorway. Both sides had arrived, and both had the same target. Eli raised his hands. "Wait! You don't understand. This crystal proves the truth. The war shouldn't even exist." The human commander's voice was cold. "That's not your concern anymore. Soldier, you've already betrayed your species." The Zolarian captain aimed his weapon at Cartha. "And you have betrayed your kind." Cartha's grip tightened around the crystal. His voice was calm but dangerous. "You fear the truth. You would rather kill us than let it live." Eli looked between them, panic rising. "Cartha, we can't fight both sides." The alien's eyes burned bright. "Then we don't fight for sides. We fight for truth." Without another word, he threw down a smoke charge. The chamber filled with thick blue mist. Blast of fire erupted immediately. Eli ducked behind a pillar, firing blindly toward the flashes of light. Cartha moved through the smoke like a shadow, knocking soldiers aside with unstoppable strength. "Eli, this way!" he shouted, grabbing Eli's arm. Together they ran toward an emergency lift at the far end of the chamber. As the lift rose, explosions tore through the room below. The crystals glowed pulse in Cartha's hand, lighting their faces with blue light. Eli looked at him. "We can't let them destroy it. This crystal could end the war." Cartha nodded. "Then we take it to both councils. Show them their lies." Eli's voice trembled. "And if they don't listen?" Cartha glanced at him, his voice low but certain. "Then we make them listen." The lift stopped with a loud clang. They stepped out into the open air once again, under a dark sky filled with fire and chaos. Human and alien ships fought overhead, explosions painting the night red. Eli looked up at the burning sky. "If we fail, this war never ends." Cartha's grip tightened around the crystal. "Then we do not fail." Behind them, distant figures emerged from the ruins, soldiers from both races, still hunting them. Eli took a deep breath. "We need a ship." Cartha nodded, scanning the horizon. "Old hangar. North Ridge. Move." And so, side by side, they ran through the wreckage of war, carrying the one thing that could bring peace to two worlds. But neither knew that someone was watching them from the shadows, a familiar voice whispering into a communicator. "Both targets alive. Prepare the trap." The night sky burned red above the battlefield. Every explosion painted the clouds with fire. Eli and Cartha moved quickly through the ruins toward the northern ridge, where an old hangar waited like a silent ghost. The sound of distant blasters echoed through the wind, but they didn't stop. Both knew time was running out. Eli's heart pounded as he ran. His uniform was torn, his hands shaking, but his eyes burned with determination. Beside him, Cartha's heavy footsteps struck the ground like thunder. In his hand, the glowing data crystal pulsed softly, as if alive, the only proof that could end centuries of war. When they finally reached the ridge, the hangar stood half-buried under rubble. The old structure was cracked, rusted, and covered in alien vines. Eli breathed heavily. "You think it still works?" Cartha scanned the area with his visor. "Old, but strong. It will fly." Inside, they found an ancient hybrid ship, part human, part alien design. It was dusty and old, but its engines hummed faintly when Cartha powered it up. Eli smiled weakly. "Looks like it wants to live again." Cartha nodded. "Then it will, just like our truth." They loaded the ship quickly. Cartha placed a crystal into a secure containment pod, while Eli checked the communication systems. Static filled the speakers. Then, suddenly, a familiar voice broke through. "Eli! Eli! It's Commander Ray. Do you read me?" Eli froze. That voice. He hadn't heard it since he deserted the human base. She was a commanding officer once, and his friend. He hesitated, then answered. "Ray, I hear you. How did you find this frequency?" "Doesn't matter. Listen to me. The Council knows you're alive. They've sent hunters. You need to get out of there now." Eli exchanged a glance with Cartha. "We're already leaving. We found something. The truth, Ray. Proof that the war was built on lies." There was a pause. Static hissed. Then Ray's voice came again, softer. "You found it, didn't you? The crystal." Eli's heart raced. "Yes. We're taking it to both councils. They need to see it." "Good," she said quietly. "Then come to me. I can help you. There's a safe zone near the old mining station on Delta Ridge. No sensors. No patrols. I'll meet you there." Eli hesitated. "Ray, can we trust you?" Her reply came without pause. "You always could." The connection ended. Cartha's deep voice rumbled. "You trust her too easily, human." Eli looked at him, unsure. "She was my commander once. She saved my life." Cartha stared at the horizon, his tone cold. "And now she served the council who wants us dead." But Eli shook his head. "If there's even a chance she's telling the truth, we have to try. We can't fight the whole galaxy alone." Carther didn't argue further. Very well. But if this is a trap, we end it our way. The ship lifted off, engines roaring softly as it broke through the dust-filled air. Below them, the ruins shrank into shadows. Ahead, the night sky stretched wide and endless. For a moment, there was peace, but both of them felt the same unease in their hearts. After an hour of flight, they saw the Delta Ridge, a lonely valley surrounded by jagged cliffs. In the middle stood a dark outpost, its lights flickering faintly. Eli guided the ship down carefully. There it is. Carther's eyes glowed faintly. Too quiet. As they landed, the air was thick with silence. No voices, no movement, just the soft whine of the ship's engines cooling down. Eli unbuckled his seatbelt. Let's find rear. They stepped out, their boots crunching on dry sand. The air smelled like metal and dust. Suddenly, a spotlight snapped on, then another. Figures emerged from the darkness. Dozens of armored soldiers surrounded them, human soldiers. Eli's breath caught. No. Rhea stepped forward from the shadows, her eyes cold and distant. You did well. Eli, you brought it straight to us. Carther's muscles tensed. I warned you, he growled. Eli's voice broke. Rhea, why? You said. She cut him off sharply. You're a soldier. Eli, you should know better than to question orders. The Council wants a crystal, and now they'll have it. Carther took a step forward, his armor glowing faintly. You would betray your own for their lies. Rhea raised a gun at him. It's not betrayal, it's survival. The galaxy isn't ready for your truth. Peace will destroy everything we built. Eli's eyes filled with anger. Everything you built is death and hate. Enough! Rhea shouted. Hand it over, or I'll shoot. The tension was thick. Carther slowly held out the crystal, but in a flash, he tossed it high into the air. The soldiers looked up instinctively. In that instant, he lunged forward, knocking Rhea aside as plasma fire filled the night. Eli dove for cover behind the ship, pulling his blaster. Carther, go. Get the crystal. The alien caught it midair, rolling behind a cargo crate as bullets slammed into metal around him. Energy beams lit up the dark sky like lightning. Rhea yelled, Stop them. Do not let them escape. Carther threw a smoke grenade, and the entire ridge filled with thick blue fog. Through the chaos, Eli heard Rhea's voice again, softer this time. Eli, don't make me do this. He looked at her through the haze, her silhouette trembling slightly. Then don't. You can still stop this. For a moment, she hesitated. Her weapon lowered just a little. But then a shot rang out from behind her. One of the soldiers had fired. Eli cried out. The blast hit Carther in the shoulder, knocking him back. The crystal rolled across the ground, glowing faintly in the dust. Eli ran to him. Carther. Carther groaned, gripping his wound. Go, take it. Rhea's face was pale now. She looked at the fallen alien, then at Eli. Her voice cracked. You don't understand. They are watching me. I had no choice. Eli grabbed the crystal and glared at her. You always had a choice. Before she could speak again, he threw a flash charge and helped Carther to his feet. Together, they disappeared into the smoke and sprinted toward the edge of the ridge. Behind them, Rhea screamed into her communicator. They're escaping. Send pursuit drones. The ship engines roared once more as they lifted off into the dark. Carther slumped in his seat, bleeding but alive. Eli clenched the crystal tightly, his face set with anger and heartbreak. She betrayed us, he whispered. Carther's voice was weak but steady. No, she betrayed herself. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly before them, and somewhere out there, the truth still waited to be revealed. But deep in the council chambers, new orders were already being given. They have the crystal. Activate Project Silence. No witnesses. The stars streaked by in long silver lines as the ship raced through hyperspace. Inside the cockpit, Eli kept his eyes on the controls, hands trembling slightly from exhaustion and fear. The ship's alarm still flickered red from the battle at Delta Ridge. Carther sat behind him, wounded but silent, his eyes half-closed as he tried to control the pain in his shoulder. Eli finally spoke, his voice low and filled with guilt. I should have known. Cartha. I should have seen it coming. Rhea wasn't trying to help. She was trying to finish what the council started. Cartha opened his eyes slowly. You trusted her because you still believe humans can change. That is not weakness, Eli. It is hope. Eli looked down, his voice bitter. Hope doesn't stop bullets. For a while, neither of them spoke. The hum of the ship was the only sound. The stars outside looked peaceful, but both knew the truth. The peace was only an illusion. Cartha finally broke the silence. Where will we go? Eli sighed. There's a small colony on the edge of the Rizak belt. It's neutral. No human or Zalarian patrols there. We can hide until you heal. Cartha gave a slight nod. Hide? Yes, but not for long. They will hunt us. The truth we carry is poison to their power. Eli's eyes narrowed. Then we make them choke on it. Just as he finished speaking, the radar began to beep. 3 red dots appeared on the screen, fast, moving toward them. Eli's heart jumped. They found us already. Cartha leaned forward, his eyes sharp. How? Eli typed rapidly on the console. They must have tracked the ship's old signal. It's broadcasting an ancient distress code. Damn it! Before he could switch it off, a voice came through the comms. Robotic, cold. Unidentified vessel. You are carrying stolen property of the Galactic Council. Power down your engines or be destroyed. Eli gritted his teeth. They are drones. Cartha stood up slowly, steadying himself. Then destroy them. The first blast hit the ship's left wing, shaking the entire cockpit. Sparks flew from the panels. Eli gripped the controls tightly and spun the ship sharply downward toward a glowing red planet below. Hold on, he shouted. The ship dived through the planet's upper atmosphere, flames licking across the hull. One of the drones followed, firing plasma rounds. Cartha took control of the rear cannons and returned fire, his movement strong despite his wound. He hit one drone. It exploded in a burst of blue light. 2 left. Eli yelled, pulling the ship lower, through a storm of lightning and ash. The second drone came close, firing wildly. Cartha aimed again, another direct hit. The sky turned white for a moment as the drone shattered into fragments. But the last drone locked onto them, faster than the others. Its laser cut across the ship's side, leaving a trail of smoke. Cartha growled, Eli, it's too close. I know. Eli shouted, pulling a hard turn toward a canyon below. The drone followed, closing the gap. We'll have to trick it. He dove lower, flying between jagged rock walls. The drone followed, but its sensors struggled to adjust to the tight space. Eli waited, then pulled up sharply at the last second. The drone crashed straight into the canyon wall, erupting in a fiery explosion. The ship burst out from the canyon and rose into the cloudy red sky. Eli exhaled hard, sweat dripping down his forehead. That was close. Cartha leaned back, his breathing heavy but steady. You fly like a madman. Eli managed a weak smile. You're welcome. They flew in silence again for a while, finally landing the ship in a hidden cave system deep beneath the planet's surface. The engines powered down with a low hum, and the darkness swallowed them. Eli helped Cartha out of the cockpit, supporting his massive frame. He patched his wound carefully, his hand steady now. You'll be fine, he said softly. The medkit still works. Cartha watched him quietly. You risked your life for me again. Eli looked at him, his voice tired but sincere. You'd have done the same. For a moment, there was silence, a rare, peaceful silence between them. The war outside felt far away. Cartha finally said, When this is over, when they see the truth, what will you do? Eli shrugged slightly. I don't know. Maybe I'll finally stop running. Maybe I'll sleep. Cartha gave a deep, rumbling laugh. And I will finally see a world without blood. But the peace didn't last long. A soft beeping echoed from the ship's console, a hidden signal. Eli frowned and went to check it. The screen flickered, and a small hologram appeared. It was Rhea. Her face looked pale, her eyes filled with something new, regret. Eli, if you can hear this, they're coming for you. You can't run anymore. They've activated something called Project Silence. It's not just to kill you. It's to erase you. Eli froze. Erase us. The hologram glitched, Rhea's voice breaking. It's worse than you think. The Council, they plan to destroy the data crystal, and everyone who ever saw it. They'll rewrite history again. Please, Eli, forgive me. I didn't know it would come to this. The message ended. Carther's eyes narrowed. Project Silence. I have heard whispers of it. A weapon that erases memory and data across entire sectors. Eli felt his chest tighten. So even if we die, no one will ever know the truth. Carther stood tall, his strength returning. Then we cannot die. Eli nodded, his eyes burning with new resolve. Then we stop Project Silence, and we end this war. Outside, thunder echoed through the canyon. Far above the clouds, a fleet of council ships appeared, scanning the planet below. The hunt had begun, but for the first time, Eli and Carther were not running to survive. They were running to fight back,